What's going on, guys? JayDYGO, and today we're back with an updated Spright deck profile. The past few weeks at locals I've been going X-1 with the deck, and it's just been a killer deck. Been able to come back on the crackback going second, make really good boards going first. And I'm running a spicy little tech in the main deck just to kind of throw everybody off, but it's been paying off super well, and I just gotta show the spice off, you know? Before we jump into the deck profile, I want to thank you guys so much for 800 subscribers. It really means a lot to me, and I know we can get to 1,000 as soon as possible, so if you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel, make sure you leave a like and comment for the video, and yeah, let's jump on to the deck profile. Starting off the deck profile, of course, we're playing the Spright lineup. I'm playing 3 Spright blue, of course, 3 Spright jet, and then I'm playing a new lineup this time. I'm playing 1 red, 1 carrot, and 1 pixies. So I want to explain more about pixies, carrot, red. My last deck profile, I was playing 2 of this, mainly to worry about like monster negates and all that. But as my locals has evolved, we have more Tearlaments and then other plays where there's more spells. So carrot actually has been doing a lot more work. And then I'm running pixies because I need that extra damage to kind of go into. If someone summons a tower of some sort, I can use my monsters and climb into that tower and beat over it. And then pixies acts as an extender too, which is why I choose to run this over Gamma Burst. Yeah, so if I don't need to use pixies, I have another body, you know? So it works out that way. And of course, I am playing 3 starter, just a very nice E-Telly for the deck that can just pretty much go off no matter what. And then 1 Spright Smashers are out to Mystic Mine. Very awesome card. A lot of folks still don't know that Smashers just banishes a Spright card from your graveyard or hand. So for the most part, you can banish starter and then a level 2, link 2, rank 2, and a card your opponent controls, so you don't have to waste your monsters. But yeah, that is it for the Spright lineup. Let's keep going. For the main normal summons of the deck, I am on 3 Deep Sea Diva. My 3rd one finally came in. Deep Sea Diva, of course, is the Hulk line. That way you can add a hand trap, or you can link climb and do an access code line, which I'm now playing. But my other normal summon for the deck, which I'm actually still very surprised I kept in, is Capshell. Capshell has been putting in a lot of work. It's finally got a good home as a level 2, so if I don't open Diva or anything solid and I have Capshell, perfect, I just draw a card. It's very nice. Capshell has dug and just gotten me hand traps, a floodgate, just kind of get me the extra draw, and especially when I'm siding too. It's just really nice to see the cards I want, and Capshell helps a lot with that. Next, I'm playing 3 Swap Frog, of course. Swap Frog is just too good. I see this being hit on the ban list. And I'm still playing 1 Dupe Frog, 1 Ronin-Totem. Ronin-Totem's just so good if I just don't have my frogs on my field but they're all engraved. This just keeps coming back over and over. And I swear I summoned it like 4 times and I just keep link climbing and rank climbing with Toad. So I was able to go make Elf with this, and then I was able to do Totally Awesome. They ended up negating it, so this came back into the graveyard. And then I kept banishing the frogs, brought this back. I think Cat Shark and then Gigantic Spright with this, and then I was pretty much able to win the game. But yeah, that wraps it up for my other monsters there. Let's move on to the hand traps. For the hand traps, I'm playing, of course, 3 Ash Blossom, still a great card, no need to explain that. I'm still playing 3 DD Crow, just being able to snipe out the monsters in your opponent's graveyard, or cards specifically, is really great, as they're still branded players, so if I want to board wipe, I can hit the opening real quick, or you can snipe the Albaz if they don't have a way to properly fusion, or if they're trying to bring it back with branded in red. But yeah, very good card still. Playing 3 Infinite Impermanence, this card is just so good, first or second. Against Mystic Mine, you set it in the same column with your field barrier your opponent has, and then kind of negate the monster and field barrier, and then you can kind of keep going off and destroy Mystic Mine. I am then playing 3 Dark Allure to more, of course. Very great if I end up going second, just negate the board, do what I want to do, and then I wipe their board. Very last thing that I added to the deck, I'm playing 2 Effect Veiler now. I decided to run Effect Veiler 2 because what if I have Ash in hand? And then if I do the Hulk line, I don't want to add another Ash, I'll just add Veiler. Works out as well. If you guys could tell there, I'm not playing the Gamma Psyframe package. I just did not see a good point of running it anymore. My friend Colby made a fair point, as if I'm just running that as extenders, it's not going to be as viable if I'm mainly just using the E-Tellys for that when I could run other spells or other hand traps, other monsters to kind of really push and extend. Which is fair, and it made sense to me, and I have not missed the Gamma package since. I've never had a game where I was like, dang, Gamma or E-Telly would be really good right here. But yeah, that wraps it up for the hand traps, board breakers. And then for the rest of the spells and cards in my deck, I am playing, of course, 1 Called by the Grave, card is just nuts. 2 Pot of Prosperity, I want to dig into the deck. I usually only banish 3 from the extra deck. Just dig into the deck and look for engine pieces, hand traps. The other reason I'm playing Pot of Prosperity isn't just for finding engine pieces or normal summons, hand traps. I'm actually playing a very weird choice in the main deck, but it's come up so much at locals and other events I've played in recently. that is just so good to dig into it, and it's mainly because I use it on my turn 1. If I'm going second, I actually side it out. I'm playing 3 anti-spell fragrance in the main deck. Yes, it's a weird choice, but my theory and reasoning for it is, if I'm going first and I open up anti-spell, Pot of Prosperity, Dark Lunar Moor, that's totally fine. I'm not going to use Dark Lunar Moor going first. Pot of Prosperity will just dig for a hand trap or engine piece, and then I'll be able to set anti-spell, as the other spells I play in my deck are quick plays. So if I set anti-spell and I set my quick play spells like Starter, Smashers, Called By, I can just use it on my opponent's turn. I just flip up anti-spell, and because it was set the turn before, I'm able to use it on their turn. And yeah, if it gets to a point where I'm setting Pot of Prosperity, I'm in a pretty winning position. I've never had a game or anything where I felt like anti-spell messed me up. I honestly felt like it was such a good thing, because if I was setting 4 because I had, I don't know, Dark Luna Moor, Pot of Prosperity, and just anti-spell or something else, they're not going to know what I'm doing, or Smashers on top of that. They're going to be more confusing, and I'm running a heavier trap lineup. And then going second, I actually side these out, mainly because they're going to start thinking, do they need to run back row hate like Cosmic Cyclone just to get this out of the way and not deal with it? And yeah, it's been really fun. They kind of side wrong every single time. They showed me their side, like, yeah, I put Cosmic Cyclone in, thought you had anti-spell. Like, no, dude, I take this out because I think you'd put Cosmic Cyclone in. I just run another hand traps. But yeah, that is it for the main deck. This card literally is just so nuts. I have so many ways to dig with it. If I had a third Prosperity, I would run a third. But the 2 Prosperities and the Cap Shell has actually come in a lot. There was a game I played against a Tearlaments player where I was able to make my full board of Elf, Red, Totally Awesome, Blue, and Carrot, and then standby I would summon Dupe. I had, in the combo, I actually summoned Cap Shell off Gigantic, and I drew into my anti-spell. Yeah, so it was super nuts. Very, very rewarding. It was a very good feeling, yeah. Not for my opponent, he was on Tearlaments, so he needed his spells, but for me it was great. But that is it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. Moving on to the extra deck, a different choice than a lot of folks have done, but I'm playing 3 Gigantic Spright. This card is just so good, and a lot of folks hit it improperly, meaning they do Ghost Ogre, which is great, but then I have 2 more to back up and just kind of grind with. But a lot of folks actually imperm this or super poly it before I can do the activation. So I need to detach for effect, so if I can't resolve that, I actually pretty much lose right then and there. But a lot of folks do it preemptively, so I'll have the materials to just do it one more time. And yeah, 3 has come up. I usually go into 2. The third one is a Prosperity target. But for the games where I need to go into 3, it saved my ass every single time. That third one would catch everybody off, and then I would just able to rebuild my board and get everything back on the field, and then OTK. Yeah, it's very surprising, but I'm so happy I run that at 3. Of course, I'm still playing Totally Awesome. He may be getting banned, he may not be. Let's hope not. Card's too good, and I'm running him, so I definitely don't want him to be banned. Totally Awesome put in a lot of work, of course, as negates, but he actually is a very strong monster as well, mainly backed up by Cat Shark. A lot of folks were surprised when I used Cat Shark, because I guess not a lot of folks at my locals knew that Cat Shark makes Totally Awesome 4400. But yeah, super awesome. He was a huge frog, just beating over monsters, and then Pixies just on top of that was really cool too, because Totally Awesome would just pretty much run over anything it needed to. But yeah, the other Xyz, of course, I am playing Downward Magician, and then I go into Zeus, of course. I actually never went into Zeus. I have not gone into Zeus once, but it's just such a good card that I don't want to cut it. It's just a good backup to have, and yeah. There was a game where I thought about going into Zeus, but I feel like it wasn't needed. Felt like I was just more overkill, or I could just make them think I wasn't running Zeus or a easy board wipe like that. I don't know what I was doing, but anyway, they just were not going to win. I had the game way too far ahead for them. But yeah, that is for the Xyz monsters. For my other monsters in my extra deck, for the other extra deck monsters, I'm playing 1 Salamangreat Alamirage. This card is just so good. I was thinking about cutting it, but just Swap Frog as a 1-card combo with it is so hard to pass up on. And it's just come up, and if I ever needed to use Alamirage as a way to protect a rank, which I actually had to do, I believe, exactly once because I tried to pop it, it came up. I don't know. It was just very nice to have. Of course, I am playing 2 Spright Elf. I was thinking about running this as 3 just for another Prosperity target, but I never needed to. And then going back into my Prosperity targets, it's usually Alamirage, one of the Gigantic Sprites like I said, and then depending on how good my hand is or how well the game state is going, I either banish the Downward Magician or the Hulk, because I don't need to go into Hulk late game, and then if I'm not going to go into Zeus, Downward can just disappear. yeah, so moving on to the rest of the links, I'm playing one Christian Halki 5 Brax, of course. This card may also be getting hit, but it's so good, special summoning a hand trap. And then I can now either special summon Ash or Effect Veiler, which is really neat, which puts a lot of pressure on my opponent to make sure they play around all the stuff that's going on, including hand traps. Then I'm playing, of course, IP Masquerena, really good as you can link into either Unicorn or my best friend here, Crusadia Avermax. So awesome. A lot of folks did not expect this. They couldn't figure out how to out it properly. And yeah, sitting on Dupe and Avermax has saved me and won me, I think, 2 games at locals, as folks didn't know they couldn't attack into it. So they would just declare battle phase, and I was like, that's cool. Main phase too, because you can't attack. Dupe and Avermax says you have to attack them, so you can't attack at all. It's hysterical. And then for the last 2, of course, I am playing the Unicorn and the Access Code Talker. These 2 put in a lot of work over this past locals for sure. I was able to spin back a lot of back row, some other monsters, and then Access Code on top of everything else was perfect. Blowing up cards, usually you have, I think, 1 or 2 cards a pop, sometimes 3. Elf, and then Hulk, and then Unicorn. Yeah, it's been super nice. So that's going to wrap up the updated Spright deck profile. Going X-1 with this deck every weekend at locals has been it's been a killer. Only losses have been to Tearlaments this whole time. But yeah, the deck is just so good. Builds boards, breaks boards. I mean, what else do you want to do? Main deck anti-spell. I played against Mystic Mine. He was not expecting main deck anti-spell. Played against Tearlaments. They weren't expecting main deck anti-spell. And yeah, it was pretty nutty. If you guys are interested in more Yu-Gi-Oh content where I go into depth and everything like that, I have a new type of video coming out in a few days called Match Report. Pretty much is where I go over one of my interesting matches at locals, explain my opening hand, my thought process, what they did to interact, how I reacted to that. And yeah, it's going to be pretty much a in-depth theory, strategical video, anything like that you guys are interested in. I'm going to do a test run, so it's going to be just 1 game for the moment. But if you guys want longer videos, just let me know. And yeah, of course, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I will catch you guys later. See ya.